July 1st, 2020. Happy birthday, America, the best country on earth. The country that ended universal slavery. I'll say more about that later. But this is a video about Stefan Molyneux. Stefan Molyneux, the voyeuristic Jerry Springer of pseudo-philosophers. The universal UPB word salad advocate who doesn't understand that it's the evolutionary lens we need to be looking through and not the word salad muff-brained philosophy of the past where they thought, oh, let's just do everything with words. No, just words ain't going to cut it. But anyway, Molyneux recently banned from YouTube. Not surprising. Yes, Google is regressive. Yes, Google is anti-liberal. Yes, Google is censorious. They deleted 14 years worth of posts by ex-Muslim cartoonist Bosch Foston, the venerable Bosch Foston. Yes, that was bad. They deleted a 2017 video off YouTube where I was criticizing tranny freaks. Yes, that's bad. Now Stefan Molyneux, he does some red pilling with regard to race and IQ. He does some red pilling with regard to other topics. But he also has, it's not all good with Mr. Molyneux. There is some bad. Yes, in my view, Mr. Molyneux is Richard Spencer and Nick Fuentes adjacent on the topic of so-called interracial marriage. Okay. And Mr. Molyneux gets his undies in a bundle when American men, even though he's Canadian, he's not really American in the sense of America meaning United States. When American men want to marry women from outside of America, he gets his undies in a bundle. But he doesn't take into account how people marry for marriage reasons. And what about the fact that a number of American women have been brainwashed by postmodernism-fueled feminism? And so where are you going to find a family values woman? Where? Well, in my case, China. So, anyway, family values women, where are they? They're in America, and some women are red pilling out of anti-life postmodernism. That's good. Red pill out while you can still make babies. Hopefully that will happen to you, female person who's listening to this vid, if you're listening. Making babies is what it's all about for men and women. The greatest gift we can give. But anyway, Molyneux carrying every day the baggage of his abusive mother and basically acting abusive in his own way. A bully. Yeah, he's a bully. And he has an acting history, so he uses over dramatization of his views and portraying things in a dramatic way. Whatever. That's not the main point. The main point is when people criticize him for his views, he's blocked me on Twitter twice. I'm kind of exiting Twitter mostly with maybe just a little toe in there, but most of my main activities are going to be elsewhere. I might keep a toe in there to monitor what Brett and Eric Weinstein are up to, and to see if Jordan Peterson ever comes back, or if Peterson ever got, maybe Peterson has brain damage from his drug treatments in Russia. I don't know. Otherwise, where is he? The man hasn't shown his face on any video format, talking cogently. So anyway, Molyneux, he has some good, but also some bad. And on the touchy topic of race and IQ, well, one thing you have to realize is evolution with selection will help all rise. All will rise. All can and will rise through the power of evolution with selection. So regardless of a person's ancestral history on this topic, well, in the longer view, we're heading up. But there is, admittedly, a competition between heading up via grifting, lying, virtue signaling and divisionism of Marxism versus the rising up from what I guess some people call capitalism, but it's more just freedomism. Capitalism is not really the we should kind of rebrand capitalism to just freedomism. right? Freedomism. Turning your life over to someone else, your destiny, is not freedom. So, Molyneux, some good, some incredible myopia, some bullying, some racism, some racial angst. On the racial angst front and interracial marriage front, I did come across a vid where he's talking to Doctor Who alien lookalike. Let's see, I think it was the collector on the Sunmakers. Vox Day, also called Theodore Beale. He strongly resembles the collector alien on the Sunmakers, the old Doctor Who. New Doctor Who is absolute trash. Don't check out New Doctor Who. New Doctor Who is not Doctor Who, just like New Star Trek isn't Star Trek, and so on. But old Doctor Who, classic, irreplaceable. Tom Baker. So Theodore Beale, Vox Day, is a petty asshole who, one example of the problem with Theodore Beale, Vox Day, is his assessment of Jordan Peterson and his book, Jordanetics. Goodness, what a shallow, wrong-headed, evil assessment of Jordan Peterson. Evil. It's an evil assessment. Vox Day is evil. Theodore Beale is evil. And he's joining hands with Stefan Molyneux. So Stefan Molyneux does kind of swim in the waters of evil dumbshits. Yes, he's interviewed some interesting people, but, he's also interested in cooked up with evil gremlin dumbshits like Vox Day, Theodore Beale. So a mixed bag. And I don't want anyone banned. Let Molyneux speak. Let the racists speak. And companies which don't allow free speech should be booted from CDA 230. Communications Decency Act 230. That's true. So, and Trump does need to wake up about how his supporters are being shit-canned already en masse, and his actions to date are not preventing that at all. They're swinging the election now with the banning of Carpe Donktum from Twitter. Raheem Kassam. Damocles' sword is always over your head on San Fran big tech social media. That's true. So, nuance. You want nuance? The leftists can't handle nuance because they're virtue-signaling Marxist, divisionist, racist dumbshits themselves. More racist than Stefan Molyneux. I mean, Stefan Molyneux does speak with some darker skinned people, and they want to speak to him. And so, I think the man does want to do some good, but he's also a bully and a myopic dumbshit on the topic of so-called interracial marriage and American men seeking women outside of America for marriage reasons. Hey, Steph, what happens if there's, less available pool of mates in America because of postmodernism and because of the lies of feminism? What about that, Steph? I sought a Chinese woman, a woman outside the country, a family values woman, a farm girl, because I wanted a family. So what about that goal, Steph? Do you think you should maybe unbundle your undies on that? Anyway, but I know you're kind of damaged from having to deal with mommy. Yeah, I can see that. But you should be open to detractors, and debates on philosophy are mostly worthless. Universal preferable behavior is word salad bullshit. Use the evolutionary lens to examine how things are. So. July 1st, continuing. Use the evolutionary lens to examine why people do the things they do. Yep, pretty much everyone's racist to some degree. Ayan Hirsi Ali has rightly commented on that. It's called in-group and out-group morality. You can listen to Steven Pinker on that. Yes, our in-group morality is expanding. That's good. That's good. And there's additional complexities. Human nature, the bad parts, rears its ugly head when people become economically disenfranchised. That's true. But you need a balance. And America, such as it is a compromise between different parts of human nature. America's a compromise. But as for the Constitution is not really whatever the judges of the Supreme Court decided. I mean, it shouldn't be, because they just go with the social winds. The social winds, which are right now leaning toward postmodernist dumbshittery. The social winds are pulling toward anti-life, postmodernist dumbshittery. And even your corporatist Republican will lean that way because they don't know any better, or they're not smart enough to think about it, or not red-pilled enough, or something pilled. Something pilled to help you realize that postmodernism is anti-life. So, anyway, on the cultural landscape, I hope Jordan Peterson comes back. As for Stefan Molyneux, well, he can continue with his little cult, de facto cult. And I say cult because it's true that some people who were hooked up on his website decided to leave their parents or some such thing, or encouraged to, or talked about it. I mean, Molyneux has kind of gone off the rails in the past. He's a little more calm now in his older age, but more off the rails in the past. So, whatever. People are drawn to personalities, and Jordan Peterson was a more healthy drawer than Molyneux. If you're looking for a good cultural magnet who teaches human nature, more truth about it, and how the value of responsibility, the value of life, the value of being pro-life, the value of debunking the anti-life left, Jordan Peterson was a good guy. Good guy. Hope he's coming back. But I won't believe he's back until I see some vid evidence. Just textual evidence is not enough. I want to see a vid of Professor Dr. Peterson talking. Hopefully that'll happen. And it's worth noting that, once again, that the Theodore Beale Vox Day is completely wrong on Peterson. Completely wrong, in my view. So the most valuable activity is taking up a baton of not only Christopher Hitchens, who was pro-life, by the way, a pro-life atheist, but also Jordan Peterson. Batons of Christopher Hitchens and Jordan Peterson. And our own batons, pro-life batons, life-valuing batons, truth-telling batons, and realizing that, yes, the evolutionary lens is a more useful lens to view why humans do what they do. Ooh, that's pretty. Anyway, that's it. Okay.